knows that. I mean, they might. I
No.
don't know. I don't fucking know what people think anymore. Um,
And who gives a shit anyway?
on that note, hello and
And
welcome to
welcome!
Wandering Monster, the Monster Manual of Podcasts. My name is John Baltusberger,
I am Charles R. Bernard.
and today we are. Charles, your camera is way out of focus.
Is it?
Like, yeah, you look like you're maybe haunting us.
Cool.
Which is, I mean,
What if I
like,
back up? Better?
no,
Worse?
everything is terrible.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me try this.
We're gonna let him figure this out. It's fine.
How is that?
Terrible. Yes. There you are. I
Excellent.
see you.
Great.
Okay. Um. So, I'm letting. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about Murder Hobo Con. You might notice that little logo underneath Charles. That is the Murder Hobo Con logo uh, just above all
My big
the
swinging
yeah, above all the
socials?
games. No, no, no.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm trying to talk to the guy who runs the con at the same time to let him know that we're here, that he should jump in.
Ah, cool.
Talking
Yeah,
about the systems too.
we
Okay.
will indeed be talking about Murder Hobo Con and the fine art of indie gaming and indie TTRPGs in particular.
Yes.
And
Oh,
yeah,
so now that I've told Ian, the guy who's running the thing, what you'll see below Charles is the Murder Hobo Con logo superimposed over three of the systems that they'll be running uh, this weekend. Those are Vast Grimm, Mork Borg, and Mothership. There's a few other games, a few other systems. There's a few other activities. We at Madness Heart Games are official sponsors of the event, and I don't see that changing for future events. We're really excited. We're really
yeah,
excited because it's our first event as a game company.
it's like a cotillon ball. We're
It
just
is.
we're presenting ourselves to society,
We
letting
are
letting them know that we're available to court.
we are available to court. Like straight up, we are. Like
Yeah,
we are
we're very
officially.
courtable.
We're opening our doors to submissions. We are submitting ourselves to various things. It's a very BDSM type thing we have going on. Um,
Heavy on the S. Yeah,
before we get
yeah.
started too deep, I want to friend of the friend of the show, friend of the company, Matthew Henshaw messaged me the other day with, and I get I get these much more often than I want to admit, with the phrase, "Holy fuck, have you seen this?" Question mark, question mark, question mark, exclamation point, question mark, ampersand. Um, and what he linked me to was uh, this. It is
Ah,
a little book filled with illustrations and descriptions of kaiju inspired by the state of Kentucky.
that's awesome.
And I was like, I haven't seen that. That's incredible. And he's like, oh, cool. Let me buy it for you.
Oh,
And then he just
that's nice.
and Matt is super generous. He is in the past sent Charles and I decks of cards with the madnessheart.press logo on them.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
actually got mine right here. Let me see if I can put my
Lovely.
hands on them.
While he's looking for that,
Oh,
if you feel so inspired, go to godless.com and pick up some of Matthew Henshaw's. There they are. Pick up some
mm-hmm.
of his stories on Godless. Support him as he supports us. He's a great guy, lovely person, fantastic writer, and you can read one of his stories in the new anthology from Madness Heart Press. Trigger warning: Speaking Ill, available right now from Godless. Next week on Halloween. Holy shit! You see where my romance is on
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Um, from Amazon. I hope there is a chance that I will be so drunk from playing Mork Borg that I will forget. So let's talk about some of the games being played this weekend at Murder Hobo Con.
Please do. But before we do,
Yeah.
for like, I can't imagine anybody like tuning into this podcast not being aware of it, but maybe explain to people the role-playing trope origins of Murder Hobo.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a fair point. There are a lot of different philosophies when it comes to playing an RPG. I am sorry, I keep fixing my hat because like I see it's like this. I'm like, that is not who John is. John is not that kind of man. There's a lot of different philosophies when it comes to playing role-playing games. Some people get really into character. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Some people, want to really get into their character, behave how their character would behave. People who want to play bards have a stereotype of just, like, wanting to fuck all the time.
Yeah, hitting on everything, yeah.
Which, like, I get.
Not that I say everything.
I have also been 15.
Yeah. I too have been 15. I am guilty, Your Honor.
Yeah, like,
and all
it's
15-year-olds are guilty.
It's fine,
like universally. Yeah.
So, and there's different styles. One prevalent style, that DMs, dungeon masters, game masters, people running the games lament about is that players kind of tend towards this like homeless vagabond that just murders everything they find.
You're
like,
drifting along the road, you encounter like a passerby, and you just like slay them and take their shit.
A sweet old lady. Well,
yeah,
she might be a hag. Better murder her.
Yeah. So, we just because this is a grimdark focused convention, I think the name is great, and I love it. And I love that you guys have a bindle sack, or we guys, I guess, have a bindle sack as the logo. And I love that I know that's called a bindle sack.
I love. One thing I love is that you might notice that the Murder Hobo Con logo and the Madness Heart Games logo, and thus the madnessheart.press and the I Gotta Try It press logos all look very similar. So much to the point that when I first shared that, someone in the group was like, "Hey, did you design that?" Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not actually, like, we're sponsoring this, but, like, I am in no way affiliated beyond being a sponsor and, you know, hopefully being way more involved next time.
Right.
Okay. That's what a murder hobo is. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, like, unless you put real thought into your character, they're homeless. And they're just going around killing shit.
Which is like how RPG, like games like Zelda and like Ghouls and Goblins and shit used to be, you know? It was just like, you see something, you slay it. So, yeah. Anyway, we love a more story-focused game, and there are 3 of them on tap.
Yeah, so one of the cool things, I read an article the other day about how Mork Borg specifically... and Charles, do me a favor. Hop on the socials while I talk about this, and like tag Mork Borg, tag Mothership, tag Bog Wizard band, and tag Vast Grimm if you can. I can't remember what their company name is, but you know, throw out some hashtags and let them know we're talking about them.
Can do.
So, I was reading an article the other day, and one of the things they mentioned is that Mork Borg, if you don't have RPG literacy already, is kind of indecipherable. It's almost an art house project more than it is a game. And I was like, I got my panties in such a twist. I was like grabbing my pitchfork, wrapping it in pitch, and just like getting ready to burn stuff down. And I was like, you know what though? He's kind of right. Because I've been playing D&D for the past 30 years. Like, I have a bit of RPG literacy to me. But I didn't bring the book out with me, but, like, there's a page. And on that page is pictures of weapons. And next to the pictures of weapons is a dice. A D8, D4. That's all the information it gives you. Now,
Really?
now you and I would look at that and say, "Oh yes, if you have a sword, you do d6 damage." Like we can make that connection. If you've never played, if you've like heard about Mork Borg and have just decided to like, "Oh, I'll try this out," I'm so sorry. Um, but then I like, frankly, um, I feel that really anyone who's starting out needs a guide. Like you need a, I think the term Sherpa is kind of not great to use. I
No.
think we talked about that on the show before, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
But you need a guide. You need someone who has walked the paths and stubbed their toes on the routes before that can
Correct.
kind of walk you through what things mean. We've talked about gatekeeping on the show too.
That we have.
And one of the great things I think that there is about Mork Borg, and all these, like, I want to stress that Mork Borg, which I'm obsessed with personally, is just the tip of a movement.
Yeah.
It's part of the old school revival movement, which is massive. It's this massive glacier of games being made in this kind of punk rock Zine style, and it's a beautiful thing. It's what drove me to start up Madness Heart Games, because what they're doing is opening this up from being like everyone wants to work in games. Like every nerd wants to work in games, and because of that, it was nearly impossible to do it. But now anyone can, especially with third-party licenses. And spoiler alert: when we release our project, it's going to have a third-party license thing. Like we're going to be fully endorsing the whole like third-party license. Let's support. Let's get the indie thing rolling. So, so the two of the games up there, Mork Borg and Mothership, are original IP, right? They're original games created. Mork Borg is kind of a sword and board, grim dark fantasy setting at the end of the world, the last few dates. Oh yeah,
and heavily influenced by the aesthetics of like black metal and death metal and
yeah,
doom metal and all that good stuff. It's like every goddamn thing from that game looks like the best album cover of like, you know, this like metal band that never was or something. It's great.
And I will say, there are bands, Bog Wizard Band, Mork Borg has put out albums.
Yeah,
that's just like that are for this setting or for these
some
settings.
Of which John owns, I believe.
Yeah, well, I own the repugnant or the pestilential. I can't think of the name. I almost put it on the table behind me so it would be sitting there. And Bog Wizard has an album coming out that is specifically for something I just kickstarted. But anyway, it lends itself to that aesthetic, which is like Funeral Doom is my jam. Like I listen to it all the time. And from the chat, third-party license. I think when I see third-party license stuff being made and I see the support it's getting from creators, this it is how I feel gaming should exist. Period. And stop. So anything we make will be open for third-party license.
What it reminds me of is like I forget which album it was that he did it first, but there was a particular Nine Inch Nails album where Trent was like, I love making albums, but I also love remixes. So here are all the like lossless audio individual tracks from the album, every single one of them for free download. Go fucking nuts. And like a million flowers bloomed. It's beautiful. So in the same way, this is like a system where they invite people to create Mork Borg content without like getting their asses kicked in court by Wizards of the Coast or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Mothership is the same way. In fact, Zine Month is in full swing right now, or Zine Month.
it is. Yeah.
And
I insist on zine because I remember the '90s.
And in 3 different groups I'm in on Facebook, I heard someone say it might as well be called Mork Borg Month. And then someone else was like, "Fuck you! It should be called Mothership Month." Because so many third-party games, licensed games, and supplements are coming out for those 2 games.
Mork Borg Month has to be like January or some other time.
It's my birth. That's my birth month, and
the dead heart of winter.
I am happy to give my month over to Mork Borg. I stop aging, and I get Mork Borg. That's how that works. In case you were wondering.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah.
So fun story. I've kickstarted all this stuff. I told Charles the other day I had to go into Kickstarter and cancel about a half dozen pledges because I had like 36 active pledges because I have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's healthy that you've recognized that this could become a crippling financial situation.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. It was. I have plenty of money to get through the. Oh, not if these hit.
Yeah.
But Mothership, I backed Sight Unseen. I knew it was a thing. I knew there were a lot of third-party games for it, but all I knew is what people were saying about it, and I backed it at like the big collector's box version, because it's like. And one of the things I really like about these Kickstarters for these games is that when you throw money down, you can like get the digital version, you can get a physical version, or you could get this like top tier version, which includes like a bunch of extra books and zines and pamphlets and like I think I'm getting a couple of patches that I can put on a jacket. It's radical. Oh my god, I'm just talking about how cool like the community is. Yeah. But like guys, we're also talking about a convention.
We are. Yeah.
And
at which these games will be played by real live humans.
D&D, and I use D&D in the kind of like overarching like tabletop role playing game. When I say that. Dice. What'd you say?
Dice. That's what my friend Astrid just refers to the whole game scene as. Like, I'm playing dice. Blah,
that
blah,
makes me think you're gonna be playing like Dead Man's Dice, the game where you have to like guess the dice, and I hate that game. Anyway, whenever I'm like role playing games are a community event. Like you can solo play, and I think I have like 3 or 4 different books on solo RPGing, and like
there is not a law of God nor man that will stop you from playing with yourself.
I mean, depending on the religion, there are several, but there's none that I listen to.
I said prevent, not forbid.
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. Last time they tried to prevent me, 3 people ended up in the hospital. It was great. It was a good night.
I like that. I'm going to use that actually. That's fun. I like that's calling up mental pictures. They're just blooming.
So anyway, they're community events or communal events, and communal events have been really hard for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, John.
I can't say what it is that causes it to be hard because we'll get blacklisted by YouTube.
I haven't gone outside in so goddamn fucking long.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
But one thing I really like about this Murder Hobo Con is I don't know the people that are going to be there other than Charles, and one of our designers, Joel, is going to attend as well.
Chance to meet some new folks. New folks
to play fucking Mork Borg with. Like, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is about networking at these conventions a lot of time. And not networking in like a creepy, buy my shit, I'm a salesperson way. More like just like finding common interests, getting recommended stuff that I didn't know about before. Being exposed to stuff. Like I haven't ever seen Mothership, so that'll be really cool and interesting for me. And Yeah, it's I have no idea what Iron GM is, but that sounds like fun.
I signed up for both sessions. I know that much.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm wondering if it's like Iron Chef, like they give you certain elements and like
it sounded actually that kind of looked like I read the description that kind of sounded exactly like what it is. It's like panic how to essentially yeah. Someone in the chat said it's like Iron Chef but for D&D content.
That's so fucking dope.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
blast.
that's fun.
But what I'll say is I lost my train of thought. Actually, Charles.
Been difficult.
Actually, Charles, it is the creepy kind of networking because we're going to be unveiling our new game that we're releasing later this year.
That's not networking. We're sponsors and we're releasing something.
Hold on. Because I'm also going to be letting people know that we are opening our doors for publishing third-party licensed content and open gaming licensed content and system agnostic content. And what that means is we do the layout and help get the art together and help bring it to the world. So we're really hoping to just like we joke sometimes about how I try to control the horror world, the indie horror world, and I'm not. Like, I'm good friends with the other publishers in the space, but
he's not, in that he's not joking about taking that shit over. But yeah,
but like at the same time, when Christine Morgan and Ed Lee and Shane McKenzie come to me, like I'm not going to turn them down.
Oh man,
I'm going to do whatever I can to get those big names and bring them out. But at the same time, like I'm also trying to bring out the experimental stuff because at heart, the experimental shit is what I love.
Yeah,
and that's true for gaming too. So
yeah, for sure,
we're really hoping to help bring support and lift up and add yet another facet to tabletop role-playing games in this whole indie space that exists.
Facet is a great word. So is niche. That's what I like about indie anything, whether it's like indie rock and metal and so forth, or like indie games, indie books. Is like you find stuff that like a major company wouldn't necessarily think, this is going to move 7 zillion units and make sure that like the CEO gets a Porsche or whatever.
Yeah.
You get stuff that's like geared more towards.
I also don't have a car.
People. Yeah, I don't
even
anymore.
have a fucking car.
Yeah.
So
I don't either.
Fuck it.
Look at us. Our carbon footprint is 0 between the two of us, and we got some big ass feet. So
big.
Yeah, like where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so like
we're good at this.
Yes, supporting indie games means supporting games that feature perspectives from queer people, people of color, disabled people, all kinds of people, and voices that you might not hear in the mainstream gaming world quite as often. So
we on this show have interviewed lots of those people. The dungeon bitches, for instance. One of the people we interviewed, Joel, who's doing Tian Sheng. I'm trying to remember the full name of his Fist of the Apocalypse.
I just remember
so
the
mad
name
at
of the episode was Dragon Punch a Demon in the Dick for Justice.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
So I've still talked to Joel.
Cool.
In fact, Joel is on the design team for the game we're making.
Awesome.
Another member, and we'll talk about this weekend, but is Garrett Cook, who is a big name in the Bizarro community. And like I said, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring as much experimental shit to the fore, because that's one of the best things about indie is as the publisher, I'm not beholden to anyone else.
Yep.
My big goal is to not lose money, but like when it comes to making money, it's like it'd be nice, but I want to make cool shit.
It's probably one of the number one reasons that I enjoy and work with John so much is the it's not that you don't give a fuck, it's that you give a fuck about the right things, and like that's important to me as well. So yeah. Congratulations.
Okay. Mork Borg.
Yep.
Grimdark. Minimalist almost.
Yeah.
Very few stats. And one of the things that's allowed for in the third-party license community is for people to build those stats. Create new rules for survival, for doing weird things.
Make it as crunchy as you want, yeah.
Bring out, I read, I bought a design recently, and it was just essays about how to add more realism to your grimdark fantasy weaponry. Which, like, yeah, I paid money for that, for sure.
Yeah, because, like, how much, like, the amount of weight that a broadsword actually has to it is fucking absurd. I know, because I've tried to pick one up. It was like one of those hand and a half things, and I was like, swing this shit? Are you fucking kidding? Like, am I a lumberjack for 20 years that I can do that? But
I have a lot of practice from swinging my dick around or something. I don't know.
Swoosh. Love it.
Trying to be manly enough for my dad to finally love me. Anyway, back to nerd games.
You steered us right there, because I was going to tell you my favorite fact about Jim Jones that I learned.
Oh, good.
So, little Jimbo Jones grew up in a very small town in Indiana in like the like 40s and 50s, basically. And he, like, I always thought that pissing contest was like an expression that did not have its roots in reality, right? It does. Like, there are such, because, like, in this little town, like, all the little boy kids would get together and, like, piss against this barn and, like, see who could get their stream the highest. And, like, Jim Jones had such a girthy member that he could, like, manipulate it and get, like damn near over the barn, like one of his friends said, who was interviewed. So, like, dude was swinging pipe and could, like, piss almost over a barn. So
one time, my little brother, I was driving around with my little brother, and he goes, "You know what, John?" I was like, "What's that, Lucas?" And he's in grade school, mind you, elementary. He goes, "I can squeeze my balls together so hard that when I pee, it goes around the entire world and hits me in the back of the head." And I told him, "Well, I am going to tell Granny and Grandpa about that." Dear Granny and Grandpa.
Yeah, dude, like, from a mechanical perspective, not sure that's a good idea.
That's also that's not how pee works, actually,
no,
it turns out.
From a, like, just pulling a brag completely out of my ass perspective, like, that's a creative mind at work. I like that.
My little brother is cool as shit.
Thinking.
He's way cooler than I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he is after you just told the whole world about that. But,
hey, I just got a text. Turns out he just got dumped. Weird.
Yeah, it's rough. Rough stuff.
So Mork Borg. We're talking Mork Borg. Ian, I hope I'm not going to screw this. Ian Servas is in the chat with us. He's going to be running the Mork Borg stuff.
So awesome.
One of the cool things about Mork Borg is it's made that easy, that simple to create a character, because you're going to need to do it a lot.
I read something the other day that was all like, and I understand this can be serious, that, like, losing a character can be difficult if you've, like, worked on and put a lot of time into that character.
Sure.
And Mork Borg is not a game for those people. Because it's a world where everything wants to, and most often will, like, kill and or eat you. It's not even a kill and eat, like, it's an and or, you know. It might eat you, it might kill you, might both.
So all these games, one of the things that I love about them, and one of the things that we are striving to incorporate into our product, is random tables. My record for early player death within 30 seconds is what Ian just said in chat. Yes. That does not beat Traveler.
You incarnate inside a volcano. Like
that does not beat Traveler, in which you can die while rolling your character of space gonorrhea.
Oh man, that's like the worst gonorrhea too.
It's not a great one. Speaking of space gonorrhea,
please.
The two games flanking Mork Borg there, Mothership and Vast Grimm, are both sci-fi games. Now, Mothership is its own thing. I'll talk about that in just a second. Vast Grimm is very cool. Not only because, like, look at the cover. You can't, Charles, but, like, everyone else, look at the cover. It's beautiful. This is a game I backed, I helped fund, because it was just gorgeous, and it's Mork Borg set in space.
God damn, that sounds awesome.
Which is going to go
kind of like that's on the Horus Heresy tip. That's on the
right. Like you have the Warhammer and the Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. Where everything's made out of fucking iron, even though that's like a spaceship made out of iron. Fucking come on. But anyway, I love it.
Charles, it's space iron. Anyway,
that's right.
Which will go right in hand when I get Cyborg later this year, and I have like the cyberpunk, the sci-fi, and the fantasy Mork Borg.
Cyborg is one that I would back at whatever level it takes to get like the LP and whatever. It's probably already doesn't need my help, but
no, it is done and gone.
Yeah, I figured.
Unfortunately,
I'll just like watch for availability.
I backed at the level where I get like the special limited edition hardback.
Nice.
That's the one I got for that. Vast Grimm, I think I did that too because it looked so sexy. Like it's seriously
I did that with
sexy.
Dune, I think. Adventures in the Imperium.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Vast Grimm is exactly Mork Borg in space. Like it is. They took it and they popped it over here, made it spacey. I'm going to get to play in a Vast Grimm game, run by the creator of Vast Grimm at this con.
Oh, that's amazing.
Super stoked, super excited. Ian said he would introduce me after the con, so rub elbows and just like tell him how great I think he is.
If I know you,
Don't say that. I don't want to get creeped out.
Okay.
Mothership is not Mork Borg. Mothership is far more complex, mechanically speaking. I'm sorry, I just washed myself out with bright light, but I've been looking over the rule book today, and one of the things that people really like about I need to close that because pot damn, there we go, I'm normal color again. Mothership has a stress and an anxiety. I'm opening it back up. Counters and things that can happen. Oh, see, I'm jumping.
So I can do a character that's like based on real life me. That's fun.
It's more like eventually every character is based on real life you.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a fate worse than death.
So one of the things I wanted to mention about Mork Borg, part of the reason you die so quickly in Mork Borg is because everything is random tables, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so you'll roll on a table, like, let's say you loot a corpse. You find a dead body, and your first reaction is to dig and try to find something good on it. As you do. That's a wrong reaction, by the way, because I have rules where you can fish in that dead body.
Yeah. Fistborg. Yeah,
Fistborg. But you can, God damn it. You roll on the table to see what you get, and maybe you get some coins. Maybe there's a dead parakeet in one of their pockets. Or maybe you prick your nail on a cursed pin and get sucked into hell.
Yeah, there's not a goddamn way I'm gonna loot a corpse in Mork Borg. Like, I know that game too well. There's gonna be something living in the pocket that like bites my fingers off or some shit.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky, yeah. Bites my fingers off and turns me into like a swarm of them, or whatever.
I made a supplement for Mork Borg for a Zine that's coming out later this year. And when I was doing the random list, I was like, how many of these should just be you die? It's like, can it be all of them? No, I should probably put at least 2 or 3 that you don't die.
Dude, there should be Mork Borg fortune cookies. Like, think about the fortunes they could write.
Man, actually, I can't. Stay tuned. After this weekend, we will be starting a newsletter about the product that Madness Heart Games is coming, and maybe there's something fortune cookie in there. I don't know. They'll just have to sign up for the newsletter and find out.
I can, in fact, read minds. That's good to know.
So, you get stress in Mothership, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get stress from seeing terrifying aliens, seeing your dudes die, running out of air, getting space gonorrhea, whatever have you. You can alleviate stress by resting. And I'm just going to read, not here. Players can gain advantage on their comfort save. That's what you do when you rest. You roll comfort to see if you relieve stress. They can gain advantage on their comfort save through consensual sex, drug use, alcohol, prayer, or any other leisure activity.
God, I love it.
Can I do all of them, though?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say, like,
because they all go together.
If you're into the occult, then
that's
sex,
all.
Religion and psychedelics are like that's like a not even a weekend. That's a weeknight. You know?
I don't know that I would include the alcohol with the shrooms. When my goal
I've done exactly that before.
Was it good?
Awesome. Yeah, because like, well, we don't need to go into like the long history of Charles's drug experience, but let's just say like shrooms make me more anxious than LSD ever did.
Okay.
And so like grabbing a drink or two like always calm me down a bit. But yeah, not easy on the stomach. I'll add.
No, I bet not. But I will say, and this is what I love. This is another thing I really like about the indie RPG scene. Directly under that is sex. Without express consent from your group ahead of time, sex should never make an appearance in your game. Even if it does, you'll need to set clear boundaries as to what is acceptable and check in regularly in case anyone's comfort level changes. Any description of sexual assault, rape, or non-consensual sex of any kind should be avoided completely. Like, yeah.
Those are good guidelines.
Put it in the fucking rule book.
Yep.
There's a rule. Adam Bass introduced it to me in, not personally, but introduced it to me in his game Necronautilus called the Olivia Hill Rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to pull it up at the moment. I'm just checking to see if it's actually in this rule book right here. I don't see it. Okay. The Olivia Hill Rule is, this game is not for fascists. If you're a fascist, go fuck off. If you see this rule and you're offended by it, this rule is maybe for you. Maybe go check your own thoughts and figure out why it offends you. And I love it. It's so awesome, and I'm gonna put it in anything we publish. And I mean anything.
Yeah.
Rule books, supplements, novels. Like I'm Charles. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if I put at the beginning of your name, this book is not for fascists. If you're a fascist, go fuck yourself.
I feel like that should come stamped on anything that we produce, like in some place, like maybe in tiny print in the book.
I had a conversation with someone. Oh, I shared it with you, the big long one on Facebook, where I basically said like, yeah, my stuff's not for fascists. If you're a fascist, like, I don't need you as a fan. And they got really like, we don't want your big stuff shoved down our throat. And it's like, well, then you've never read any of my stuff, obviously.
I do so love the shove down my throat. Yes, and by the way, yeah, like, because your stuff does shove it down the throat.
I am not subtle about my political.
It's one of the things I like about. Yeah, one of the many things I like. But yeah, like the Olivia Hill Rule. I'm now just curious to know like who Olivia Hill is, so that I can write her like a fan note.
Like, I believe, I could be wrong. Ian might know. Olivia Hill was a game designer who put that rule in her game, and then was like, "Hey, if anyone wants to use this, go right ahead. It's open gaming license."
Cool.
So you can just like copy and paste it with the open gaming license text, and it's kosher. Okay, so like I said, Mothership is way more crunchy.
Yeah,
super crunchy. And there are other games, and I'm really going to try next time to bring in as much as I can ahead of time. Like Murder Hobo Con this time, I was like blindsided. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to intrude. Next time, I'm bringing the thunder. I'm going to suggest so many things. Ian's going to be sick of me. That said, This Kickstarter is currently losing a lot of the indie OSR
Can't imagine why.
crowd, because they have decided that they want to exist on the blockchain and only deal in pretend money.
Yeah, non-fungibles or whatever.
I'm not. I've read, like, I was curious, but I felt like I was too dumb to like really get into it. And then I read an article that kind of broke everything down, and now I just refuse to get into it because it's not a great scene.
No, no, it really isn't.
And so so after having done that, I'm following the other creators as they go to GameFound, Lootbox, I think it's called. I'll find out later. If you have any questions, ask me. I'm getting emails all the time from creators that are saying, "Hey, I'm going here because I don't want to do this blockchain bullshit." And frankly, like, look, madnessheart.press has existed solely out of my pocket so far. As we grow in success, it's slowly becoming out of madnessheart.press's pocket, which is
an improvement.
Yeah, it's making me sleep a little better. I am now able to afford.
Up and walking around, Dr. Frankenstein.
I'm able to afford 2 warm-meated blankets now on the cold nights.
Yes, that's right.
I can now afford the dog food that makes its own gravy.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
So I say all this to say that, like, we're going to be making books. We're going to be publishing RPG supplements and rule books, no matter what Kickstarter does. Mm-hmm. If we can find a good crowdfunding source that we can kind of tap into, so that we can grow the art and get people paid more money, we will do that. But if we have to, like, go into our basements and fucking staple signs together, we'll do that too.
Wouldn't be my first time.
Yeah, we're gonna do whatever we can to help this community flourish, because it's an amazing community doing super cool stuff, and like, being part of the community has been a lifelong dream of mine. I've always wanted to be part of the game design, tabletop RPG community, and things like this, Murder Hobo Con, really help that happen. Now,
absolutely.
Murder Hobo Con, how do you get to it? How do you join? Because guess what? It is not too late to join the party.
Not at all.
Now, I will say, Ian, if you go to
herbertmotor.com.
If you do a Google search for Murder Hobo Con, man, that's not as easy to say as I want it to be. You'll see a link for murderhobocon.com. It is not actually the best way to get tickets. There's a link under that. Google Murder Hobo Con /tabletop events. If you click on that, then you can actually, like, get a badge to attend both days, and I think it's like $15.
It is, and when you get the badge is when you can buy tickets, quote unquote, for different events, which just basically signs you up for them. There's no additional cost for all the events. You can sign up for all you want.
Yeah. So, and what I recommend is sign up for whatever looks cool to you. If there are tickets available, you'll just automatically be added. If they're not, you'll be put on a waiting list, and then you can go to My Schedule, and you can look at what all you're signed up for. I'm not logged in. Oh no, it's showing me August 2021. I think it's showing me last times. Yep, it's showing me the last event. Anyway, you can look on, and if you're double booked for something, choose which one you want to do more, and refund or get rid of the ticket you're not going to use, so that someone that is waiting to get into that game can. It's Wednesday now. End of day tomorrow is your last chance to sign up.
Friday.
Sorry, badge registration closes Friday.
And
So,
don't forget that this is coming at them probably from the future if it's on YouTube. So we'll just say that it closes on Friday. Get your ass in gear. You might have time. It might be too late. In which case, you fucked up.
no, you did not.
You fucked up.
No,
Oh, really?
Charles.
Okay.
Charles.
All right.
You're over there. Charles. No.
God damn it.
Fuck you.
All right.
If it is too late and you missed this Murder Hobo Con, that is okay because there will be another one. Ian, I think it's going to be in 6 months. I think you're doing twice a year, spread 6 months apart. Either way, there's going to be another one. We will be signed up for that. We will be sponsoring that one, and we will have events at that one. Like, we will be Madness Heart Games. Me and Charles, we will be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
like
though
wizards,
we're not already.
Amazing wizards. Holy shit!
Hobo wizards.
I spent so much time reading these rule books, and then like was way too excited to talk about everything to even go into rules. I'll take a picture so we can post it on the socials. I built myself a little game room. And by game room,
nice.
I mean there's a futon with a record player and all my game books. So I can sit on the futon and read my game books. It's not a game playing room. It's a game looking at room. But, if you are watching the stream right now in the chat, Ian Servas has posted a link to get 25% off a badge. So if you're here right now,
how about that?
Hop in the chat, grab that, and that will bring it to
$10 probably.
Like $12, I think. I would think of 12.
I don't know, something like
anyway,
that. I don't know
cheaper. It's already fucking dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
To save a little more money.
Charles and I will be there. You should be there too. It's cool, man. I can't wait to talk about more and show y'all more cool games. Oh,
it's going to be a blast.
Ian wants me to remind everyone that the proceeds of the event actually go to charity.
Oh, neat.
So like, I think when I signed up the sponsor, he's like, "Oh, this counts as a charitable donation." I was like, "It's not." Like, I am happy that it is the case, but I'm not going to claim it on my taxes, man.
I never have in my life. Yeah.
I actually
Which reminds me, your synagogue wrote me a very lovely letter that was like, "You can claim this on your taxes." And I was like, "Oh, that's nice," but I'm not going to. But,
I might claim something on my taxes. I went and bought my dog, or no, what was I buying? What was I buying? What the hell was I buying?
Full body like bondage suit.
No, I was buying a special USB light, USVB light for my snake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it makes him happy.
Yeah.
Jury's out on if it has any actual health benefits. Anyway, I was buying this light, and outside there was a guy raising money for Stand for the Silent, which is a charity that specifically helps children who suffer from depression and suicidal thoughts of self-harm, because those numbers have been rising intensely over the last like 5 years.
I wish I could say I was surprised. Yeah,
I donated a bunch of money to that, and I donated enough money that I was like, go ahead and give me that receipt. Maybe I'll
might as well.
maybe force the government to pay for kids. Is what I thought to myself as I went to go buy my special snake light.
Yeah.
Friends, thank you for sticking in with us all this time. I want to remind you, I have the new book from madnessheart.press, Trigger Warning Speaking Ill, is now available on Godless, and on February 14th will be available on Amazon. My new book, Abhorrent Faith, which addresses the anti-Semitism in Christianity. It's a sequel to Abhorrent Siren, and is kind of my response to the fire that Charles mentioned that was set to my synagogue earlier this last year. Will be out on the 21st. It has a great cover. It's out, like, you can go find it on socials now. And finally, because I haven't talked about it in a while, I wrote this.
I've got my copy.
Yeah, this is the Subjective Truth of the Esoteric Self. It's a little meditation guide.
Yeah.
Like, it fits in your pocket. It helps.
Yeah.
It helps you feel good. I hope.
That's right. Yeah.
Charles, you've written books too. We're not doing this very well today. We're not doing our socials very well this day. But tell us about your writing.
If the fine people of the internet would like to know more about my writing, which includes my debut novel, A Baptism for the Dead, which is out on madnessheart.press, you can go to tinyurl.com/all lowercase Charles R. Bernard. That's where I keep the annotated list of all the different stuff I've got in magazines and anthologies and essay books and, my novel and stuff like that. You can also find me on Twitter at CRBernard, CRBERNARD. You can find this humble podcast online at WanMoncast, at WANMONCAST. You can find Madness Heart Games at MHP_games. And I think that's all of except for Madness Heart Press, and that's MHP_horror, correct? So,
yes. And of course, you can find me at Kaiju Poet on our socials or www.kaijupoet.com. And thanks for sticking with us. I know we didn't talk about a specific monster this time, other than the monster of gaming. But it was a fun time.
Well, yeah, and it's our special pre-Murder Hobo Con show.
Our first con. It's really exciting.
We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we know that you will enjoy what we will be unveiling in the very near future
at Murder Hobo Con. So, thank you, everyone. And the real monster was Charles. Sorry.
That's right. All along. Always has been.
Always has been.
Unapologetically.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. I have been John Baltusberger.
I am Charles R. Bernard.
And we'll see you this weekend at Murder Hobo Con.
That's right.
But until then, stay safe, but stay scared.